Now, this concept of katnus, of dealing with being in a diminished state, dealing with smallness, that's a very big part of what Pesach is about. That's a big part of what the Seder is about. That's what the Ari says. That's why, really, when you start your Seder, you're not even allowed to think about the Kaddish, as we will speak about when we talk about Kaddish. Don't think Kaddish. Kaddish, forget it. You do what the Kaddish afterwards. Something called karpas, right? When you dip the vegetable in, then after you brought in this incredible light with Kiddush, then we can handle the Kaddish. But I can't handle the Kaddish in the beginning. It's too hard for me. It's too much. First, I'm going to get this tremendous light. You guys know, you know what? God's going to help. Everything's going to be okay. We'll talk about that best when the time comes. When Kiddush, we'll Kaddish. We'll talk about it. What the Kiddush of the Seder is about. What are these 4 cups? What do they mean? That's a big part of this, of what the Seder is. So, how do I deal with these elements? So, when you're dealing with this diminished state, the divine name associated with this, associated with nature in general, and associated with diminished states, is the name of Elokim. Right? The name of Elokim, which is translated God. So Elokim has a numerical value of Hateva. The natural world, the way nature is, that is a numerical value of Hateva because nature is a glove for God. But because of Adam's sin, nature completely occludes godliness. You don't see godliness in nature. As a matter of fact, the Hebrew word for the world, olam, is the same as helam, which means concealment, because that's what this world is. This world conceals completely the godly nature of things. We can find it if we look for it, but if not, then you could just completely miss it. Depends which part of you connect to. So, we have to learn how to deal with this in the proper way. We have to learn how to have the right type of thoughts and not let our thoughts get carried away in the bad kind of places. So that's, first of all, being simple. And one is being simple. So chametz, leaven, has a numerical value of Elokim and a numerical value of Elokim, which is 86, plus Ben. Ben is, again, the same God's name. There are 4 different ways of writing out God's name. We'll talk about this when we speak about the cups again, Be'ez Hashem, next time, or another few times. So, this name, God's name is spelled out Yud, right? You have a Yud, then a Hey, then a Vav, then a Hey. So that you can spell out, Yud is always spelled the same way in this context, Yud, Vav, Dalet. When you're talking about the name of Ben, which is also the name that's associated with the lowest level of this world and this worldly type of things. So you have, Hey is spelled, it's all spelled with kind of like a mirror image. Hey, Hey. Vav is spelled Vav, Vav. And the last Hey is also spelled Hey, Hey. And that equals 52, which has a numerical value of Ben. Now, Ben means a son, because when a person, as the students of Lashanta point out, when a person is in this place of the Ben, where he's dealing with the animal nature, that's why Ben also has a numerical value, of course, of Behema, which means an animal, like Dari says. So we have to, first of all, know that we are a child of God. You don't feel like you're a child of God, He's right there with you, and hold on as whatever you can. It's going to be very hard to get through the times when you're in this place of the Ben. Your animal nature is asserting itself, and it's very difficult to fight that. So again, basically, you have this Elokim, which is the Katus, this capacity for your thoughts taking off to bad places, coupled with the animal nature that's sort of driving things, and then it's not so good. Those two have a numerical value of chametz, leaven, which we're trying to remove. And this is one of the things we can think about when we are searching for chametz and trying to remove chametz, or maybe even selling chametz, is that's what chametz is. Chametz is Ben plus Elokim. That's one of the things that we can think about. And as Hashem will have on the screen, we'll figure out how to show these names. But in general, it's very important to try to search out for the chametz anywhere possible. Anywhere it might have been left, you should try to remove it. There's even the story of my old friend. his wife, after really working hard to search the house, and they worked so hard, but finally did their checking. You checked for the chametz the night before the Seder night, right? The night before Seder night, one checks for chametz. There's a whole procedure which we'll talk about. So the first thing is he did that, he did everything, and they worked so hard to search for the house, everything, search and find the chametz, and he was pretty sure there's no chametz, reasonably sure. His wife opens up her cupboard to get some cleaning stuff or something, the cupboard below the sink, and she screams because there's a bag of rolls. And she's like, what is going on here? There's several rolls. She's losing it. It's almost Pesach. Seder is at night. What is this? So after doing a little checking, he figured out that his little son had heard in his school that there's not going to be any leaven allowed. He likes rolls, so he hid away a few rolls, but he'll need rolls. He didn't quite get the matzah thing, he just didn't understand. So we don't eat the leaven at all. We're going to eat the matzah instead. Of course, matzah is its own particular recipe. It doesn't have to do with it being thin or thick. You can have crackers. They're not going to work as for matzah. I know of a cleaning lady, this Russian lady. She's Jewish, nice lady. She came to a household that kept Passover, kept Pesach, and she gave the children what we call here begelach pretzels. And when confronted, she said, what is the problem with pretzels? They're just as thin as the matzos, maybe even thinner than the matzah, so what could be wrong? It has nothing to do with how thin it is. As a matter of fact, they used to make matzahs. You can still get in some Sephardic places. There are places today where they make thick matzahs, actually. Just make sure the matzahs have to be finished within 18 minutes when water is joined with the flour. So it doesn't have to do with how big it is, how blown up or not blown up it is. Although matzah, generally speaking, is not, you can't really blow it up so much. But generally speaking, it'll be like a kind of a bread, what we call a pita or something, maybe. It's not going to be any thicker than that. It's going to be anyway thin and simple. But the Ashkenazi custom is very thin, literally wafers or crackers. But most crackers or pretzels, all these things are chametz. They're not to be eaten. There's the opposite story. The guy who was in the Russian army, very religious, came from a very good family, and he got in touch with the rabbi of the town where he was stationed. He got special permission to go to a Seder. He said, please send me to someone who's really erlich, really good and cares, because I can't, I want a really kosher Seder. And he walks into the Seder and he sees the main table, there's a huge challah. And he's like, oh my God, the guy's eating challah on, it's bread, this very, very obvious braided bread, especially have for challah. What house? So the guy saw him looking so strict, and he's like, what's the problem? It's made out of eggs and sugar. There's no flour at all in this. This is totally kosher. There's no worries. So he's like, oh, okay. So I don't know if he ate from it, but he was a little okay. So at least the guy's a little strange, but not. He's not. He's keeping the laws, So you have to be careful what you can have, what you can't have. But it's important to try our best to search for the chametz. And remember, again, the chametz represents the Yetzer Hara, represents the inclination. And that means we're also searching within ourselves to try to find any negativity, especially, thoughts especially, but in general, all the negativity we're trying to find and trying to remove. I want to remove from myself anything bad. And the Baal Shem Tov said, one of the hardest problems in Mitzrayim, in Egypt, was that the Jewish people didn't know that their problem. When they figured out that they had a problem, they turned to God and said, help, and Hashem, God helps. But they didn't get that his problem is he doesn't realize he has a problem. No, everything's fine, I'm great, everything's great. It's like, no, everything is not great. You're depressed, you're angry, that's not great. That needs to be fixed. You need to fix that. How do you fix it? Okay, you have to start again and change your attitude and change how you relate to things. You have to figure it out. But first, if you don't realize you have a problem, then you're really in trouble. Because you can't even know. That's why Nachman said, the verse said, I will surely distance myself. It's like double lashon of distance. Surely hide myself. Right? I will surely hide myself. But this idea is God will be so hidden you won't even realize that you're distant, you're far from Him. And that's a tremendous lack. You're missing something in your life. You're going to run through this rat race. You don't understand. My real problem is I'm just not connecting to what I'm here for. I don't understand. I have a mission. I'm here for a particular mission. I just don't get it. So Pesach is the time to realign ourselves to our life mission and say, chametz is gone. Matzah. All the different things we do. So searching for chametz. And we're searching again within ourselves. We have to search, and we have to try to search out and find every drop of whatever we need to find. There was a story about one of the rabbis, I think. He realized someone left a bag of bread in some crazy place. He figured it out, whatever. All different weird places where you could leave. One person found the bread in the stucco box or the charity box, or some the kid had inside of him. His child had decided to check what it would be like to put bread, things, little big lumps of bread in there. They're different. So he's like shaking it. It's like lumping around, but instead of clanging, he's like, "What's in here?" It's full of bread. Different, interesting escapades of people. But we'll see. I guess we'll discuss now. There's another halachic way around transgressing the prohibition of chametz, which is called bittul, which means that chametz really has no reality. We spoke about this a little bit before. Chametz has no reality in and of itself on Pesach. For a Jewish person, from the moment the night of Passover starts, chametz is gone. The drop of chametz can ruin anything because it has no reality. So you really can't own chametz. When you own chametz, it's called, you're not allowed to have any pleasure from it. It's like nothing. You try to buy something with it, it doesn't work. Like nothing works because the thing is gone. We have different discussions in the Talmud. Well, till when can you? What if you do this? And what if you do that? But really, what it comes down to is that chametz has no reality. It's only as if it's real because the Torah makes it as if it's real so that you'll transgress the prohibition. So what you need to do is say, I nullify the chametz. I don't want to have anything to do with this chametz. And then it's gone. And that's one of the things that we do after we do the search and we check for chametz. One of the things that we do is we do this declaration that whatever chametz that I didn't see and I didn't, right? It's gone. It's nothing. You say it in English, right? Whatever chametz that I didn't see or I didn't find, it should be nothing. It's like dirt. And then the next day when we burn the chametz, and which again it represents this idea of burning away the Yetzer Hara negative influences. We burn away all the negative. We say again, anything that I did see or that I didn't see, right, that I removed or that I didn't remove should be nullified. And the way of the Baal Shem Tov they bring that this idea is also related to the person's own personal negative problems, character defects, where he says, whether I saw, I don't saw, so I didn't see, because he knows that there's plenty still in himself he's got to deal with. Whether I removed, destroyed, or I didn't destroy it, there's plenty still. And if you don't know that, you're not anywhere, you haven't done anything. And the deeper works also say that this idea of nullifying is the same thing with your negative impulses, that you say, I don't want this to have anything to do with this. You destroy them completely, you eradicate them in a certain way. And that's really what God wants us to do, because that's what we're able to do. We have to do till whatever our hand goes, and that's it. And you do bittul because it's assumed you're not going to find everything. It's assumed, especially within a person's self. We know it's going to take time, but as long as you keep trying, like the best one would say, if you're in quicksand, 1 foot in, 1 foot out, or I don't know if quicksand is the wrong word probably. If you're caught in the mud, if you're struggling, 1 foot in, 1 foot out, 1 foot in, 1 foot out, eventually you'll get up. If you just sit there like a stick in the mud, my friend, you're not moving at all. It's the same thing every year. You just try to remove, try to get out, and God will help, and Yisrael will manage, and we'll get out of all of our difficulties. So that was 2, right?
This would be so useful.